There is no law in this country that says you have to turn your engine off when the police pull you over. None. There is no power that forces you out of your seat, no power that makes you hand over your keys, and no offence called leaving your engine running. In fact, the police are actively campaigning to be given the power to make drivers switch off, which tells you everything, because you don't campaign for a power you already have. And yet up and down the country, the second an officer leans to the glass and says those 3 words, almost every driver's hand goes straight to the ignition because it feels like an order and nobody ever told them otherwise. So, let me be clear about what this video is and isn't. It isn't me telling you to sit there revving your engine and making a point. That's the worst thing you could do. And in a minute, I'll explain exactly why. It's me telling you the truth about that little moment. Because there is a lot of very confident advice online, most of it American, that will get a British driver into real trouble. The words are the same on both sides of the Atlantic. Turn off your engine. But what they mean and what you should do about them could not be more different here. Turn off your engine. That's the line. It sounds like the most reasonable request in the world. And on its own, it very nearly is. But here's the thing. Almost nobody understands. The engine was never the point. The engine is the opening move. What the officer is really doing in that first 10 seconds is taking a reading. Is this someone who knows exactly where they stand? Or someone who's frightened, eager to please, and about to hand over a great deal more than a turned key? Because the trap in a traffic stop is almost never the first thing he asks. It's the second and the third. So here's what I'm going to give you. One calm sentence you can say the moment that engine question comes. A sentence that keeps everything friendly, gives the officer everything the law actually entitles him to, and quietly closes every door he was hoping you'd leave open. And I'll show you the exact law behind every word of it. So you're not taking my word for it, you're taking Parliament's. Stay with me to the end though, because the real trap isn't the engine at all. It's the follow-up line he uses the moment you've switched off, and the 7-word question that decides whether you drive home tonight or spend the next hour on the verge. That last part catches even people who are sure they know their rights. I'm Oliver Bennett. For 15 years I stood next to drivers in police stations and courtrooms across England and Wales, listening to how ordinary stops turned into something else, nearly always because a decent, cooperative person said a few words too many in the first 2 minutes. This isn't legal advice, it's the plain English version of what I wish every driver in this country understood before the blue lights ever came up behind them. And let me be honest about why this small moment carries so much weight. Because on the face of it, it's nothing. It's a turned key. But watch how the chain runs. A routine stop becomes a conversation. The conversation becomes a couple of lines in a notebook. Those lines become a reason to look a little closer. Looking closer becomes a search of your car. And a search, even one that finds absolutely nothing, becomes an hour at the roadside, your boot emptied onto the tarmac. And on a bad night, a whole lot more than that. None of it because the law demanded it. All of it because a decent person, flustered and eager to seem helpful, gave away far more than the law ever asked for in the 90 seconds after the engine went quiet. That is the whole reason I'm sitting here. Let me start with what you genuinely must do, because I'll always give you that straight, and because it's the foundation for everything else. When a constable in uniform requires you to stop, you stop. That's section 163 of the Road Traffic Act. And failing to stop is a criminal offence. You also, as the driver, must give your name and address and produce your driving licence. That's sections 164 and 165. And you can produce the documents at a station later if you haven't got them on you. And if you're lawfully required to give a breath specimen, you blow. Those are the musts. Stop. Identify yourself. Produce your licence. Blow when it's required. Hand those over without a second thought. Now here is what is not on that list, and this is the part that surprises people. There is currently no general power that requires you to get out of your car at a routine stop. There is no power that requires you to hand over your keys. And there is no specific power that forces you to switch off your engine. That isn't me being clever with words, it's why the Police Federation has been campaigning to have such a power written into law. They want it precisely because as things stand, it doesn't exist. So when an officer says, turn off your engie,